So, crazy times. We have the helpful content update released 7 days, and it is out there destroying web. Some sites have been down by like 50% back to back straight after the Google Core update as well. So, basically, as soon as the August 2023 Core update ended, the September 2023 helpful content update has been released, and we're still going through the rounds right now. So we're 7 days in. It's been causing havoc. I'm going to talk about that today and what you can do about it to overcome this. What's interesting is actually if you check the SERP indicators of volatility, so basically it checks any changes in Google SERP. And typically, if there's a Google update like the core one, the volatility would be super high normally here. But on most of these indicators, for example, like Wincher, SEMrush's algorithm update detector as well, you can see that they're all in the normal range, which is quite strange actually. And it's kind of in the green, which is weird because right now the SERPs seem very, very volatile indeed. Let me show you some examples. I saw this quite interesting thread on Twitter. Basically, Ken started this helpful content update destruction thread with a chart and a picture of some of the decimation that's going on. So you can see, for example, this chart right here. This site has gone from about 500 clicks all the way down to about 100 clicks a day, which is insane in such a short period as well. This site too as well, you can see it's a 5-year-old site that was very stable, DR29, lost 49% of its clicks in the last 2 days. That is insane, people. How does that happen? So right now, things do seem very, very volatile. A lot of people are getting hit. If your site is getting hit as well, now you understand why. And let's be honest, it's still early days with the Google update, right? So the helpful content update last year, it lasted 38 days. This one, we're only 7 days into it. It could last 38 days again, like last year. So there's a lot more to happen, which means that if you're seeing a drop in traffic, potentially it could go back up or it could go way, way further down. But either way, it's still early days and it's too early to judge. I really do think Twitter is one of the best places to get updated on this because so many people are posting about it and the SEO community is massive there. So Theodore, you can see here, he's had one site that got decimated by the helpful content update and another one getting a nice boost. And interestingly, the one that's written with AI is actually getting the 8.4% boost, whereas the human written content one is taking a giant hit, right? You can see it went from 1K at its peak, 1,000 clicks per day, all the way down to about 300 clicks per day, which is absolutely brutal. Now, you might ask, who are the winners from this process? Who's getting all these serves? Because someone has to rank number one, right? So I would show you on Ahrefs, but the graphs aren't working right now. Typical. But always happens when you need a video. So I'm going to show you on SEMrush instead. But if you look at SEMrush, for example, you can see since July, the traffic for reddit.com has increased exponentially. So they're doing really well from this update. If we look at LinkedIn as well, so you've got LinkedIn Pulse, which is pretty popular for parasite SEO now. You might see my recent case study, but you can basically see that their traffic is going up exponentially as well. I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's just insane. Like 615 million traffic previously in June. Now they're up to over 700 million traffic in September. It is absolutely crazy. So what does that signal to me? I mean, like I say, it's very early days. You can't really judge just yet. But what I would say is these big authority websites are basically overpowered, right? I think that's why this parasite SEO experiment went so well and why it ranked so quickly is because these big forum sites, Reddit, LinkedIn, Quora, etc. Let's check out Quora. But I'm pretty sure they'll have done pretty well out of the core update as well. So yeah, you can see the traffic is just going up really nicely there for this website. What are the key takeaways right now? Well, first of all, it's very, very volatile right now. You know, if your site does take a hit and you see your traffic going down in Google Search Console, I wouldn't panic just yet or make any crazy changes to your website. There's a lot of good sites that actually got hit in this update, human and AI, and you can't really judge it until it's over. In fact, one thing I would recommend is setting up limits on checking your Google Search Console. There's a really good one called Cold Turkey that basically, even if you uninstall it, it still works and it's completely free to use. So if you want to limit checking your Google Search Console to once per day so that you don't go crazy about it and keep checking it and playing tricks on your mind, that might be a good way to go over it. And like I say, the biggest winners so far seem to be these big authority sites like Reddit and LinkedIn, etc. They're overpowered. If we look at Outlook India, they seem to be taking a little bit of a hit, actually. So this is another popular parasite SEO website. A lot of people have been posting on there recently and talking about it. But you can see since August, where they got 25 million traffic, the traffic is now dropping quite substantially. Same with the keywords. So that's interesting. So what are the next steps? Well, first of all, there might be another 21 days left, simply because the last helpful content update lasted 38 days last year. And we're only 7 days into this update, so there could be another 21 days of volatility left. And there's also talks of rollbacks, right? So Linden AI on Twitter, he was saying, looking at the volume of complaints, and there are tons of complaints on Twitter, and the percentage of websites that don't seem spammy that actually got hit, he, along with a lot of other people, are talking about a potential rollback because of all these issues that have come along. But no one knows for sure. It's up to Google, isn't it? It's still early days, but some people are talking about Google backpedaling. Tony Hill as well on Twitter, another account I would recommend checking out, mentioned that it's been a particularly brutal, helpful content update for a lot of niche site owners. Most people are seeing 50% drops. And that potentially, when there's an update as harsh as this, sometimes there's an undoing towards the end and rankings actually come back. Let's see, no one knows what's going to happen, etc. There's another one for you. Look at that graph. It's just absolutely brutal. And bear in mind as well, there are probably more updates to come, right? So around this time of year, if you look, for example, last year, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more updates since August, right? Now we've only had 2 so far since August. So there could be another potentially 4 updates to come, a particularly volatile year for SEO. And it'll be interesting to see whether they actually do reverse the update or not, if something's gone wrong, etc. This can happen sometimes. Meanwhile, this Parasite SEO case study actually ranked #1 that I did recently. This site is doing particularly well. So you can see pre-August the 20th, the traffic was down to 186. Now we're reaching all-time highs of 310 for this website. A lot of the other websites have been up and down, etc. But this is one of those websites that actually did well, and I thought I'd show some good news when everyone's sharing some bad news, just to balance it out. So just to recap on the helpful content update. The current search landscape is highly unstable. Don't panic or make any hasty decisions if your website does dip, because it could reverse or roll back. Things can change very quickly. AI and human-driven content has been impacted. Definitely don't check your Google Search Console and keep refreshing it, or other analytics tools, because that will drive you crazy. And platforms like Reddit and LinkedIn both seem to be doing really well from the update. And the final thing to bear in mind is whatever happens, you can fix it, right? There's always a fix. That's the good news. So even if your site doesn't recover, or even if you've taken a 50% hit, etc., there are ways you can fix your website long term. And if you're playing the long term game with SEO, these fluctuations don't matter so much. Plus, it's going to be months before actual data comes out that's reliable and has some accurate diagnostics. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to learn how we take websites from 0 to 145,000 visitors per month, then feel free to book in your free SEO strategy session, and we'll give you an SEO domination plan, answer any questions you have, basically look at your competitors versus you and compare how you can rank with link building. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.